Hey, what is going on, party people? Greg Jenkins here from House Monkey Pod. Some quick context for you. Once upon a time, I wrote a blog post about using WebinarJam and connecting it to your Keap account. And then I stopped using WebinarJam sometime after that. And so the relevance of that article started to wane. And it eventually became obsolete because WebinarJam had made some changes to their platform, and what was outlined in my blog post was no longer useful for people. But fast forward to today, we have a brand new update courtesy of another certified partner, Nathan Householder, who took it upon himself to figure out the new method to connect things to WebinarJam using their updated API documentation, etc., and was kind enough to record a video for me so that I could update that blog post and give you all a refreshed resource to guide you through the process of registering contacts from Keap into your WebinarJam webinars. So if that is what you are looking for, you are in the right place. Lots of love, respect, and gratitude to Nathan Householder for taking the time to not only sort this out, but to record the video so that I could share it and you all would have this resource to guide you through this process. Enjoy.
Hey guys, so basically how to connect Keap over to WebinarJam is a couple of steps. Number one, you're running a registration page of some sort that can trigger off an HTTP post. That can be a landing page, that can be a web form, that can be a normal form submitted, a public form or something like that, whatever you want it to be, so that the information comes into the sequence and goes through an HTTP post. If I go inside, what you want to do is edit this information here. Let's use my test one as a blank option. This is the template for it. This is the URL that you will use always. You'll use first name, last name, email. You only need to use last name if it's required inside your WebinarJam settings. But these three pieces right here, the API key, webinar ID, and schedule, are pieces that you need to actually grab from WebinarJam and stick them in. So let me show you that. All right, so you go into your webinar. I highly recommend you click on Advanced at the top. You'll see API Custom Integration. You'll see the API key right there. Copy it, and you'll just stick it in the API key like so. The webinar ID, pretty easy. Also right here, 28 for me. Then schedule is where I've always run into the problem. Schedule inside here relates to the date, basically, of your webinar. So if you click on edit into that specific one, click on full configuration, next, and you go inside. Once you click on, I believe it is schedules. Once you go into schedules, you'll see that you could have many dates for a specific webinar, and so the system wouldn't by default understand which one to have it in, you know. So for example, this one we have going on the 29th, it says session 4, and what WebinarJam would recommend to you is to grab that 4 and stick it in there, and bada bing, you're good. But found that never works, and that hasn't worked for anyone else that has tried that I've ever found on the internet. So I did find somebody that seemed to find a way to do it through a curl request, and I'm no developer, so I had to go and search that out and figure it out. And so let me walk you through how to find that schedule. So here inside the WebinarJam API information, it gives us connecting to our API, and this specific one, register a person to a specific webinar. And so that's one thing, but actually it's this one, get details about one particular webinar. So we're trying to get some specific information, and if you scroll down, you'll see a curl request right there. Okay? So what I'm going to do is copy this into a doc here so we can edit it a little bit. Let's do this. So there's two pieces of information that we need to edit here. We need to edit the key, which from mine I have right there. Again, if you need help figuring that out, it is on the outside of your webinars. If you click Advanced, API, Custom Key, API Key right there, okay? So once you have that inside your doc and your webinar ID, if you remember mine, I placed that in there. Again, same place here, Advanced, API Custom Integration, Webinar ID. Good. So now I have everything that I need for this curl request. Next, what we're going to do is go into my terminal inside inside my Mac so that we can post this and get some information.
Okay, let me interrupt. I didn't know what the terminal was. I didn't know that my computer had this. So if this feels new or technical to you, that's fine. You don't need to be a developer. You don't need to be a programmer. All you need to do is follow in Nathan's footsteps here. I did a little Googling to try to figure out what other use cases there would be for the terminal, and I didn't find anything that felt super relevant to me. But for what he's about to demo, all you have to do is copy and paste it in. The terminal does its thing, runs the code or processes it, and then it spits out some information that helps us find what we need in order for the WebinarJam connection to work. So don't panic if this feels like it's over your technical pay grade. Just try to follow the exact steps Nathan lays out. And if you need help finding the terminal, you can Google that as well.
So we'll copy this. We'll go into the terminal, which if you're on a Mac, you can Google how to bring up the terminal, or if you're on a PC, I think it's the same type of idea. Just go and look up how to bring this up. But then I just paste in the curl request there. I press enter, and look at that. It gives me all of this information right here. If I copy that and bring it right back to my document, now I get to go and try to find the information in here, okay? What I did actually is I just stuck it straight into ChatGPT, and I said, hey, get me the schedule ID, and it just popped it out for me. So that's a really easy way to do it, but it's actually right here. So you want to look for wherever it says schedule. 34 is mine, for example. And so that's a lot different than the 4 that inside the actual settings showed, right? Because on mine it said session number 4 right there, and there's nowhere in here that we would have known what the real one is. So that's all the bulk of the work that you need to do to make this work. So we say 34, draft to ready, and that's it. Now you can go ahead and test it out, okay? So just for the sake of this test, I'm going to go ahead and stick in this really easy public form. All right, I'm going to do a public form, and let's just create a new form for this test. Here, we'll just do test form. Good, that has all the information I would need. I could remove some of this, but just for sake of time, I really don't care. It's saved. And so now we'll come back over here, save that, connect it over, all good. I'm going to republish. Now that that's published here, we can test it out on the public form. So here it is. I'll just go ahead and put in an example test. We'll just do test@test.com, phone, whatever, test. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to click submit, and then now we just need to go to WebinarJam. Click on registrants, click on breaking into, click on your session, your specific event, and click go. Give it a second. And there it is. It just took 30 seconds or so for it to come through. First name, last name, email, all that information, all good stuff. So that's how to make that work. And now you can have your own form, connect over to WebinarJam and create some registrants there. Then inside integrations, you could go to Keap or Infusionsoft here and set it up so that when people do attend and stuff, they can get tagged and whatnot. So that is all of that. Thanks.
And just like that, you've got everything you need to use your own landing pages, your own sign-up forms, and then register people into your WebinarJam webinar with an HTTP post in your sequence. That means you can use whatever sign-up forms you want. It means that you can register people with just the click of a button if you already have their contact details. It means that you can let affiliates drive traffic to your WebinarJam webinars using this process coupled with Keap web forms to make sure the affiliate information sticks, right? Lots of potential behind this. So if you are a WebinarJam user, then you can join me in expressing gratitude to Nathan for taking the time to sort this out, to document it, and giving me permission to share it with you all. That is it for now. If this helps you, drop a comment saying thanks to Nathan below. Otherwise, feel free to share it with anyone else who it can serve. Take care.